the entertainment highlight of the week.
Red Ray Gun Limited presents
The Benji and Nick Show.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good day.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good to be here.
Good day, Sunday.
Oh, you've lost it there. Come on. You can't... I thought we were only having sort of general kind of things.
No, that was suggested in the last podcast.
That was it really? Okay, then. Well, in that case, then, goodness.
Loch Ness.
Yeah, well, there we go. That ends that
you
one.
You even suggested that song.
Good day. Yes, good song, to be fair.
Yeah, they said, you should start singing at each other, so I adopted that tactic. I can't remember what wonderful listener. Anyway, sorry, that was the Loch Ness game. It's not a game, it's not about Loch Ness.
But this is the Benji and Nick Show. I'm not Nick.
And I'm not Benji. I still like it when you used to say I'm knock-kneed.
I'm knock-kneed. I am. No, I'm not. This is the Benji and Nick Show. We are a cult television podcast where we talk about cult TV from the past, TV you might remember, TV you might want to forget, TV you might never have heard about, and now have discovered for the first time. We go through it, give it our opinion, and we do all sorts of different things. And what are we doing today, Nick?
Oh, well, since you asked today, we're presenting the final part of our Doctor Who The Sunmakers commentary. Yes, part 4 of our celebration of a glorious Tom Baker story from 1977 featuring Leela and K9 too. Also Jamie Anderson, who suggested we watch it. He didn't suggest we watch it. That was from last week. That was a wrong bit of script. Jamie Anderson will be along just to talk rubbish just at the end, I imagine. He's a good friend of ours. He's the son of the late, great Jerry Anderson, just in case you want to know. In a moment, we'll be doing your emails sent to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com. Please do send in some emails. Is it your turn to explain the whole sponsorship thing? That's all right. You sure? I don't want to impose it on you.
No, it's fine.
Thank you,
the Benji and Nick Show is proud to be sponsored by The Village Shop, the online e-store run by the Unmutual website and Coit Media Limited, your one-stop shop for all things Prisoner, Danger Man and Patrick McGowan, including DVDs, Blu-rays, books, CDs, audio dramas, clothing, photos, homeware and gifts. New items are added weekly. Benji and Nick Show listeners can enjoy a 10% discount on all purchases by using the code LOCHNESS10, all capital letters, no spaces, no complications, LOCHNESS10 at the checkout. And a further donation will also be made to Hope House Children's Hospice at no extra cost to you. The address is as followed: www.theprisonershop.co.uk.
Right, shall we have a look? Oh, but the Loch Ness 10 thing is 10 on the end, not TEN.
Thank you for clearing that one up. Yeah,
I'm sure no one will worry about that. Are you looking or am I looking?
You can have a look on this one. Yeah, why not?
Okay, I'm going to press that and open the link. Let's see what's on offer here. A by public demand on-screen worn replica of the prisoner villager cape. How about that?
Oh yeah, we did that one once before. I'm quite shocked that nobody's bought it, actually, because I thought that it'd be great to own a cape.
Yeah. What else could we do? Sorry, the wind is blowing my door rather violently.
Well, they do Armchair Theatre on DVD on there, which is quite good.
Oh, yeah. Hell Drivers, which we may have mentioned before. A fantastic movie.
Hell Drivers.
It's on Blu-ray there.
Helen
Driver. And an umbrella shooting stick with folding handles.
Oh, come on. Brilliant.
Penny farthing white bath towel set.
Well, you could just, you furnish a whole house on here.
Yeah. There you go. All right then, that's what's going on at the Village Shop. There's an additional offer, by the way, which is if you use the code YouOldFool, all capital letters, no spaceships, You Old Fool, you can enjoy 40% off the 550 page book. I'm nearly reading this out. The Callan File, the definitive guide to the classic TV series written by Robert Fairclough and Mike Kenwood. So there you go, extra thing there. You might also like to have a look at nicholasbriggs.com and see if there's anything you fancy buying there. We won't bother having a look. I keep moaning that no one's buying anything in a rather pathetic way. And then someone, because I moan, I don't know, or maybe it's nothing to do with it, does buy something. And so thank you to all of you who have bought photographs. And what was it the other day I signed? Oh, it was a DVD cover for the release of Dalek. Yeah, so I think that's gone. There may be one more left. I'm not sure. Anyway, go to nicholasbriggs.com and see if there's anything you fancy getting. And I'm signing anything there. There's some art prints as well. If you
He'll even sign, I don't know, a packet of digestives if you really wanted him to.
Sure. I haven't got any on sale though. But now we're going to go to your emails. I'd like to remind you that we asked the following questions last week. Would you like to remind people of this?
Certainly, yes. So the questions are as followed. What did the controller from Day of the Daleks eat for breakfast? Is the Seeds of Death actually rubbish? How many wheels can you have on a train before it starts to look silly? Is it? Are you sure? Where's the most peculiar place to leave your pants? In The Day the Earth Caught Fire, which actor makes an uncredited early appearance, but his voice is unmistakable? I don't think anybody answered them though, did they?
No. Well, there might be. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Look, here, this one. Question 7, this email is called, from Phil Johnson. It was sent on the 26th of May in the year 1357. To podcast@nicholasbriggs.com. The Day the Earth Caught Fire. What a classic. I love that movie. Have you ever seen it?
It's a cracker, yeah. In new restored high definition, you can get it now, can't you?
I know. Well, that's how. I recorded it off the telly. Funnily enough, I only remember this film because of Michael Caine's brief appearance. Did you know it? You see.
I didn't. I must have at the time. I can't recall it from memory.
Uncredited. He just says a couple of lines.
Hello.
Move along, sir, please, or something like that.
I see the Earth has caught fire. Not a lot of people know that. They'll be burning to death.
Who'd have thought he would go on to star in such amazing blockbusters as Jaws, The Revenge, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, and the terrifying The Swarm? I do love the fact that he always freely admitted to starring in any old tosh as long as he got a decent paycheck out of it. What a legend. Anyway, I've recently treated myself to the newly restored 40th anniversary edition of Flash Gordon, probably my biggest guilty pleasure movie of all time. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the restoration looks like. Without a doubt, it's one of the most colourful, camp and ridiculously OTT sci-fi movies our little country has produced. It's so bad, it's good. The cast is amazing, featuring the likes of Max von Sydow, Brian Blessed, Blue Peter's Peter Duncan, that's true, Rocky Horror's Richard O'Brien, and of course, former Bond and Rassilon, Timothy Dalton, not to mention one of the best soundtracks a movie has ever been given. Can I please put this forward as a suggestion for one of your podcasts? I think it would be a right laugh. On a serious note, maybe The Adventures of Flash could be a future project for Big Finish. The original Alex Raymond stories are wonderful, especially the first, The Lion Men of Mongo. Keep up the spectacular work on everything you do. Your wonderful podcasts always start my week with a bang and make me smile. Thank you. Big respect, Phil. Gordon's alive! Gordon's alive! So there you go.
Cracking stuff there, isn't it? Brilliant. An old Flash Gordon, yeah.
We had a bit of a Halloween consternation last time, didn't we?
We did on the Halloween podcast, yeah. Well, we've got Rob Doyle here, is written in. Sent his message on the 25th of the 5th, 2020 at 10:52.
The year 1052, I think.
The year, of course, yes. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is the subject. Hi both, hope you're well. Thanks for reading out my email about The Thing last week. Glad you enjoyed the film. I pretty much agree with you about the quality of John Carpenter's films. They do start to dip after The Thing, except Big Trouble in Little China.
I must watch that.
Another Kurt Russell coloration that was great, silly fun. I know a lot of people like They Live, and it might have been something special had Kurt Russell taken the lead role. No, actually, no, I've not.
It's really an interesting film, actually. Most people find it really annoying because there's a huge fight sequence somewhere in the middle or near the end of it, which is almost pointless. But anyway, so
he turned it down, and wrestler Roddy Piper was cast instead. Oh, rowdy Roddy Piper. He was in that great film with that. He had that line, didn't he? I came here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
That's not good. In They Live, is it?
It might be in They Live. If it is, then I have seen it.
You know the basis of it?
There's a bloke, sort of a lone... Yes, it is that film, The Lone Ranger, isn't he? He's a kind of one-man...
Well, the idea
crazy
is that
gun.
the world has been taken over by aliens and you can see them if you put these special glasses on.
Oh, okay. I must have seen it because I remember all those bits in it, but
the aliens, when you see them, are rubbish. They're like people with bad Halloween masks on.
it's such a weird one. Maybe I've only seen clips of it because I can quote it and remember the music, but I have no real recollection of anything else. Just the wrestling fan in me, probably. Roddy did a good job in that film, to be fair.
Yeah, he was okay, but you can absolutely see that was a role for Kurt Russell.
Well, carrying on with the email, says, considering it was his first major part, he didn't do too badly. Just not a very good film. Yeah, well, there we go. The actual reason for this email is Halloween 3's Season of the Witch. You said it was very Quatermass, and there is a good reason for this. It was written by Nigel Neal. In a documentary on the making of Season of the Witch, the director Tommy Lee Wallace said 60% of his screenplay was the work of Nigel Neal. Carpenter did rewrite Neal's script, and Wallace did some additional rewriting. Not sure why Wallace gets single writer's credit. Seems a bit unfair. Anyway, looking forward to the Sunmakers commentary. There we go. Well, he wrote in again, didn't he? Do you want to read this one, Nick?
Oh, okay. He says, hello again, both. I know you probably don't care, but I dug a little deeper into the Nigel Neal not getting a writer's credit. He was approached to write the script by the original director Joe Dante and asked to come up with a new original story based on the word Halloween. Neal was in America writing a script for a remake of The Creature from the Black Lagoon for director John Landis. Now, that would have been an interesting film. Unfortunately, it was never made. When Neal saw Halloween 3, he sued the producers, forcing them to take his name off as writer, as he was unhappy about how violent and gory they had made the film. Well, I found it interesting anyway. Thanks, Rob Doyle. It is interesting, isn't it? Yeah, and I must have known at some point that Nigel Neal had written the script, but it has got a real Quatermass feel to it, and that is why.
There we go. Well, the next one here, actually on the subject again of Halloween 3. This is from our good chum Steve Hatcher, sent on the 25th of the 5th, 2020, in the year of our Lord 120. Really early. How did you get back that far, Steve? Hi, chaps. I'm sure lots of people will have pointed out, Nick, that it's entirely unsurprising that you got a Quatermass vibe from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, as none other than Nigel Neal wrote the first 2 drafts of the scripts. He then went off in a huff when he was asked to make changes and insisted on having his name removed from the film. There we go.
It's a slightly different version of the story there.
Enjoy the discussion of The Thing. The original is a superb film. The John Carpenter one is not bad at all. All the best, Steve Hatcher. Sent from my Samsung mobile on O2. Let's say
Interesting.
I2.
Me too. So there you are. He prefers the original thing, doesn't he? There?
The original, you might say.
So do you think you should go and watch that at some point?
Definitely. It'd be interesting to compare them, especially with that original logo. That's
quite.
Tantalised my...
Someone did answer the questions. Benji and Nick's Super 7, sent on the 24th of May in the year 1037. From Darren Lodge. Darren. Hello, Darren. Hello, Benji and Nick. While watching Fireball XL5, I was listening to your questions. Here come the answers. So what was the first question? What does the controller from Day of the Daleks eat for breakfast? Mint choc chip ice cream with sprinkles. That's why he looks so pasty.
He's just always freezing.
And I said, did I say, is Seeds of Death rubbish? He says, no, it's genius.
How many wheels can you have on a train before it starts to look silly?
I just wanted to say about the genius thing. You know, that's
Genius.
the bit where Patrick Troughton's been running away from the Ice Warriors. I have to say that I was in the middle of rewatching it when I asked that question about it being rubbish. But watching the rest of it, I did really enjoy it by the end. There's an episode without Patrick Troughton in, and it suddenly becomes very, very dull. It just gets better when he's back, basically. Even though I would say it's not one of the best scripts.
It's not his finest hour.
No. Sorry, yes, the third question was what again?
How many wheels can you have on a train before it looks too silly?
44 to 45 would look silly.
It's a long old train. Is it?
No, not on a Sunday.
Are you sure?
Yes, absolutely correct.
Where's the most peculiar place to leave your pants?
At the North Pole, because you would need them.
very, very good observation, dear chap. Very good observation. In the day the Earth caught fire, which actor makes an uncredited early appearance but his voice is unmistakable.
Comedy answer, Cat Weasel. Aye, brother. Actual answer, Michael Caine as a police constable. You will have to come up with something better than that to fox me. Ha! Keep the banter going, lads. I'm going to do myself some beans on toast. Take care and stay safe. All the best, Darren Lodge. Thank you for the beans on toast.
Enjoy your beans. Lots of cheddar on it, I hope. You can add the cheese to that.
Now, I've written some questions for next week's podcasts. Emails. But we've got 3 to fill in, which I want you to think of, Benji.
Okay.
1. Who do you prefer, the Gatherer or the Collector from the Sunmakers? 2. Life on Mars or Ashes to Ashes? 3. Talking Pictures TV or Network DVD? I think both is the answer to that. Anyway, 4. The Thing, Boiler Suit or Gunge?
That's a good one. Okay, talking Dalek Invasion of Earth and, of course, 2150 AD, what do you prefer, the post van or the massive truck?
Brilliant. Okay, what's the next question? Question 6.
Okay, next question.
No pressure.
What is Cat Weasel's favourite food?
What is Cat Weasel's favourite food? Okay, excellent question. And question 7, Benji?
Oh, question 7. I've got to pull this one out of the hat, haven't I?
Have you got a hat?
Somewhere, deep in my interior.
What colour is Benji's hat?
Good enough answer. I used to wear a hat. I used to wear a Trilby hat when I was young, and all of my family hated it.
Trilby, I say. What colour's Benji's Trilby?
It's a good question. Yeah, they hated it, and it was so battered after years of wearing it that it had holes in it. And my hair used to poke out. Then one day I was on a night out. Somebody stole the hat. Never saw it again. They all celebrated. I was very upset.
Have I told you my Trilby story? I used to wear Trilby as well.
Look at that, see?
That's obviously why we get on so well.
It's the hat. The day of the hat.
Do you know how I lost mine?
How did you lose yours?
One of my ex-girlfriends, her sister, vomited in it.
Oh gosh! I hope you didn't put it on.
No, I left it under a. I left it under a seat on a coach. We were getting a coach back from the Thames boat trip, and my then girlfriend Fanula Elwood, who later went on to find fame in Emmerdale, her sister Naomi started to feel a little peculiar on the journey, and she was going to be sick, and there was nothing else around. So I took off my Trilby and said, "You better do it in here, darling." And she did. And I just remember holding it and my hand getting warmer and warmer. And then I put it under the seat, and I nearly said to the coach driver, "Listen, we put the hat round and a little something for you."
Oh no! Can you imagine?
That would have been awful. I felt terrible leaving it there. But my only mitigating factor in making such a poor decision, which in law is no excuse, is that I was drunk. In law, saying you're drunk is not an excuse. That means you were reckless, and if you were reckless, you are guilty. I know that from being on a jury. Yeah, so you can't say you did something wrong. You know, the way I characterised it to other members of the jury was they said, "Oh, well, they were drunk," and I said, "That's no excuse in the law." And they said, "Well, why not?" I said, "Well, for example, if you hit someone while you were driving a car, you wouldn't think a good reason for doing it was that you were drunk, because of course you should not have been driving in the first place." And I said, likewise, that counts for everything in law. You know, you can't say, "Oh, I only did that because I was drunk." So that excuse I've just offered is no excuse at all, and I, to this very day, I'm bitterly sorry.
There we go. Well, members of Stagecoach there, write in with your complaints. Well, I suppose we've got 2 avenues to go down. We could do the Sunman part 4 now, and phone Jamie afterwards, or phone Jamie and then do the Sunman.
I think we do the Sunman first, the Sunmakers, but I've actually written the Sunman because
much
that's what Benji's
It's just much more fun to call it the Sunman, isn't it, really?
The Sunman.
Just irritate everybody that doesn't like it being called that. Right, okay, then, well, in that case, get your videos out, your DVDs up, and your streams up if you're on BritBox, and
how are we going to do it? We go 3, 2, 1 and press play.
3, 2, press.
Okay. So no, 3, 2, press rather than 3, 2, click press.
Yeah, it'd be 3, 2, 1. On the 1, you click it. There we go.
We're ready for this. Okay, let's see if it works. 3, 2, 1.
There we go.
It's
rolling. That glorious box with the funky lights.
Oh, there we are.
It's nice to watch a Doctor Who. It's, you know, I don't watch as much Doctor Who as I used to.
Really?
No, I don't. And I
Since
really
I've got
should.
BritBox, I watch it all the time.
I'll be brutally honest. I've just been watching too much Coronation Street for any human.
Well, bless you.
What can I say? I'm an oddball.
Oh, this is, of course, we left Leela in this terrible state last time, about to be steamed. Can I tell you that someone told me that on BritBox, on average, Doctor Who is watched 17 times more than any other programme on BritBox?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course, because I think it's the incentive for quite a few people to get BritBox.
Totally. I mean, it's interesting on their homepage. They've got, you know, basically all the other programmes and Doctor Who. It gets its own separate section.
Well, it's an impressive commodity, isn't it, to have, you know, classic Doctor Who. I just think it's amazing as well that you can, I mean, the spider brows and the massive head. But I think it's amazing the quality of this. You know, when you look at, I mean, the Doctor Who restoration team in general are amazing. But to watch a programme like this, you know, obviously it's on tape, but it does look brilliant.
It does, yeah.
That's a lovely shot, isn't it, of the steam there, with Tom Leela there, feeling how I felt in bed last night, almost boiling alive from the heat.
About to be steamed.
Again, you know, they've really made the most of kind of the setting in this, because there's not really, apart from that funky machine, there's not a lot going on in terms of a set, but the lighting is superb.
Yeah, a lot of people, I noticed someone the other day having a go about the sets in this, and I really take issue with that. I think it's beautifully... Uh-oh, the message is coming through.
Well, the thing is, you can
great,
you can interpret it in two ways, can't you? Really, you can look at it and think it's very bare, and kind of is not a real location, or you can look at it and think they've been very creative, and actually it's got a distinct look that other episodes don't. And like, that's obviously just television centre. But
imagine a couple of secretaries doing some typing in the corner. You know.
But it's fine because it looks brilliant.
I do love the costumes. They're real quality, aren't they? Look at that. Beautiful work.
Lovely colours.
Yeah, look, they're just in the canteen there.
And I mean, you know, in fairness, it doesn't really look like a canteen, but it's fine because it's good. There's old Oliver Reed there.
Yeah, I quite like the fact that Oliver Reed blows it by being compassionate and calling the doctor, and that's why the voice echoes across the PA system. I think that's rather
be
good.
more horrible, Oliver.
He's very small, isn't he?
There's Golf Caddy in the background there with the hat on. Massive, funky clocks. Look at all those maps. It's a Scalextric set on the wall there.
Yeah.
Quickly, get the Formula One. Open the obviously opening section where the others don't actually open.
Yes. Tom's
Why are they
cross.
hugging? They don't even know each other that well. Why are they...
Oh no, they were quite friendly.
I suppose so.
Look at those eyebrows. They're very frightening, aren't they? That picture of Tom holding his hand up there, that was one of the publicity stills.
What a power pose, isn't it? Every time he raises his eyebrows, it looks like his hair moves forward. Not Tom, the other chap.
Which one?
The guy who talks like him. On the left.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You watch his hair, it goes up and down.
You notice the guy who was talking to the collector there?
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy who did that the laughy man.
Your favourite. Yeah.
Tom's making all that up. None of that was in the script.
Oh, look, here come... They look like they work in a canteen, don't they?
Chips.
Chips, please, and some baked beans. Oh, no,
they've got, look at him giving up there. Oh, well.
Oh, well, never mind. I'll have that.
They've got a lot of fight in them, haven't they? Yeah. We're extras. We're not putting in any effort.
I say they were worth employing, weren't they?
Look, just come on. What is this about? Shut up. Just come on. Be arrested and go away.
And they're meant to be your security force. They just give in.
Yeah. Well, they're not treated well enough by the collector, are they?
It's true.
The canine, the Find Canine scene.
With his velcroed on, stuck down collar.
And his very ring modulated voice.
Yes, there should be a whole book on the variations of Canine's voice.
Tom giving it real there.
These two really deserve the award for most fun characters in this story. I mean, look at both of them together as well.
Again, I read something with someone really didn't like Gatherer Hade's performance. I thought, what, are you kidding me?
It's just a weird sort of... It's a very acquired taste of a story,
Laughy man again.
Type of man you want to on a long coach trip, don't you? Really. Do you think he has the duck to go through doors with that hat
Definitely. On? Yeah. But as you said
do you think
before,
all the doors in his house have like a little notch so his head fits through it?
Because his head is, in fact, that shape, yeah.
I hope it is.
By the way, one of his compliments for him, he called him your monstrosity, and the collector didn't notice.
I know it's like old Wurzel Gummidge when he used to say your effervescence, Until he's having far too much fun in that chair, isn't he?
Do you think that was an electric one?
Yeah, look at his hand. He's got definitely. You can see where the box is as well, the actual box of the thing underneath.
It's funny they never used one of those for Davros, did they? He was always pushing it along with his feet.
Yeah, I wonder if it was... I don't know. Maybe it would have been too bulky, because it's quite a big old thing there, isn't it? It's too bulky to be a Dalek seat.
Well, the last Davros with Peter Capaldi, that was actually an electric one.
Of course, he comes in on it, doesn't he, and does all this...
And Peter drove it into the wall of the set. He lost control of it. It was just this hilarious moment, which everyone had their hearts in their mouth when he suddenly pressed this button. He just shot straight into the set, made a bloody great hole in it.
Oh no!
And everyone was a bit like, oh! No one could stop him because he went. Oh, bit of aggro down in the down on location.
The guy on the right hand side.
Yeah,
he's sort of. If you watch it, he's sort of for a minute ago. He looks like he's about to laugh.
Yeah, it's this sneery look. Look at him. Watch his acting on the right there. Look at that. He's giving it all the reaction, isn't he?
He's really.
And he thought, I'm going to get it in the.
Look at his smile now.
Yeah.
He's thinking, if I pull this
won
one
that
off,
scene.
I might get an Oscar.
Is that Stuart Fell? Stuart Fell, and he did.
I was going to say, if he isn't, then he certainly did.
Yeah, it's Stuart Fell.
There's something quite sort of strange about having a Doctor Who companion with a knife. Because a knife for me is the ultimate nasty weapon. So it always gets me when she's holding the knife and goes to kill someone.
Good shot of Louise there. And Stuart Fell's shorter than Louise there, you know. He's a face you'll notice in lots of Doctor Who episodes. The other person gets hypnotised as well joke.
Oh, the old classic, yeah.
And you know what this is setting the scene for later on. The Doctor says to the Collector, well, wake up! And at that point, that guy wakes up, which is not what the Doctor wanted.
a classic. I love the way as well. It's covering his ears. Just assumes that he's still... it would just not be... Somehow he won't hear, even though we can all really hear when we cover our ears. The grey one. Like a spider in the middle of a web.
Yes, with spider's eyebrows as well, you know.
Spy brows.
Eyebrows that spy.
Those walls have got all horrible old marks on. Obviously been used before.
Have they?
Well, in another scene where it's clearly made a mark.
Yes, they've made their mark. Oh, yes. It's all blotchy, isn't it?
Look at him waddling around. Yeah,
your
it's definitely-
grossness.
your grossness. If you look, yeah, that's definitely the electric mechanism they've built around it, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
A grave error of judgment.
Yeah, nice bit of propaganda there. We are now just watching it. You realise that?
You do. I wonder if the chap there in the wheelchair, of course. Do you think perhaps he requires a wheelchair in real life, and therefore
No, he doesn't. No.
He does. I thought maybe he did. Okay. Well, then
No, it's Henry
scuppers
Wolff, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he needed one. I don't know.
No, not at all. No, it was just a thing. Because the idea is that he's actually a horrible, blobby bit of squiddiness that's just held in check in that
Held
seat.
inside them. Yeah, that makes sense. Hence the eyebrows, of course.
Yes, indeed.
Like
Now,
Squid's
buddies will
tentacles.
shoot.
It's a little metal hat.
Nice bit of Dudley here. Dudley Simpson music.
Of course, I should add that the score to this has been released, hasn't it now?
It has, yeah. And some of my friends were dissing it, going, "Oh, yeah, it's a shame they couldn't find the music for City of Death, and we had to have this rubbish instead." And this is a fantastic score. It's beautiful.
But also, I'm pretty sure, people find things. They don't choose what they find.
Well, no, I realise that, but
Yeah, would it be true? I mean, why'd they bring back the smugglers? I mean, that's what I want to know. Well, couldn't we just have Evil of the Daleks?
but the idea that somehow the Sunmakers is sort of an inferior score, and I don't think it is at all. I mean, Dudley Simpson's composition is so wonderful.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be brutally honest here in saying that a lot of Dudley's stuff sounds the same by this point in Doctor Who. A lot of
Similar.
episodes it sounds very similar. There are standout stories of his. City of Death is one of them. Does that make any of the others not as good? I don't think it does. I think they're all brilliant because he's a very accomplished composer.
Yes, he absolutely, to coin a phrase, gives the right cues. He supports the drama perfectly. So much of our understanding of what is dramatic and what is scary and what is important in these Doctor Who stories is shaped by Dudley Simpson, And a lot of the time, some bits that are lacking in pace or have very unimpressive visuals are completely rescued by what Dudley does. And I can say that with some, in inverted commas, authority, because I used to listen to these. I used to record them on audio. And so my understanding of these stories is largely through the audio medium.
And I think as well, in terms of you look at when they switched from Dudley left, and then they brought in the radiophonic workshop. Completely different vibe to the stories.
Good effect, that.
Yeah, it's not too shabby, is it? The Lego room.
Sorry, you were saying?
I was saying when they switched to the radiophonic workshop, it was a completely different vibe to the stories. It had a different effect in terms of the entire mood and setting. And I think Dudley is absolutely the right person for Tom Baker, especially.
Yes. Why don't you girls listen to me? I bet that was a Tom line. That's their version of the BBC One spinning globe.
Yeah, the spinning Earth.
Hey, I love the fact that they believe it immediately, but of course, that's just propaganda, you fools.
He looks so chuffed as well, doesn't he? Lovely crisp ring mod.
Yes.
Oh, here they come. The golf caddies.
Yeah. There's a bit of cardboard behind me.
Oh, God, peeling as well.
I love that little sideways glance, like, yes, I really mean it. Like they'd believe her if she actually did that in front of them. That's the old television convention of people giving reactions that in real life no one would, like in soap operas when someone's telling someone something they don't like and they give it all the eye rolling and everything. Most people in real life will go, why are you making those stupid faces? Why saying you don't believe me?
Yeah. Why are you being completely and utterly rude is what I want to know.
Yes. Yes, Quarter's right.
He's great
My
fun, isn't
eyebrows are moving.
he? Him in his boxing boots. Yes. Oh, here we go. Back on the roof.
Ah, yes, he gets his comeuppance here, doesn't he? What are you scum doing up here? That's the wonderful thing about being in productions like this. You get to say stuff like that, don't you? I mean,
Gets to be a real, nasty piece of work. Look at that! Look at that for a crowd of people. The revolution starts now.
Right,
Crikey, yeah.
The good thing is they only chucked a dummy over the side.
Yeah, suddenly I'm behind you, really. Fell for it, didn't you?
This revolution must be working. There are at least 15 of us.
Yeah. That's a pretty grim way to go, isn't it? Thrown off a building. I would have liked to have seen his hat flying around.
Yes, he hits the ground and then the hat comes off and you see that his head was that shape. Oops. That's the one moving bit that Tom just pulled out there.
Classic. Oh, look at this.
So look, the Doctor's going to hit him with something. Yeah,
Donk.
it's nice confrontation. Here we go.
I like the quickness of Tom's expression changes from big smile to serious to smiles.
There's a bit here where the button flies up in the air and the Doctor catches it, I think.
Slots it back in as well.
Yeah. I love the fact that it does a silly sound effect. This is where he starts pulling at his hair, isn't it?
You can see they're both enjoying this.
It's like he's jealous of his hair because he hasn't got any.
I'm like an egg.
We're just watching it now.
Yeah, Professor Thripted. I wonder who Professor Thripted is. That's a typical bit of Robert Holmes' tip of the iceberg stuff. He just sort of mentions a fact about something and it paints a whole picture of more information behind it without actually having to say it all.
Very clever. Look at those two.
This kind of thing wasn't prevalent in science fiction in around about this time, you know, that it was all about the acquisition of money and what have you. Is, you know, it's quite
It was one of the
fun.
deeper stories, dare I say, of Doctor Who, isn't it? Sort of somewhat controversial in.
Yeah, I love it. We are just going to watch it, aren't we?
It's all right. Everybody else is watching. It's fine. You can see his real eyebrows above the fake eyebrows there.
Oh, yes. Well, I know. I think they're the same eyebrows. I think they've just waxed his eyebrows.
Can you? Surely not. You can't have eyebrows that thick. No,
yes, they
human
did. And
does.
I think he did. I think he absolutely
Crikey,
did.
surely
I'm an
not.
expert on eyebrows because I've got enormous eyebrows that I have spent most of my life hacking back like someone who's dealing with an overgrowing hedge.
Crikey, though, those are some.
Well, just look up
Extreme
pictures
one.
of Dennis Healey, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, round about this time.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, has
They
some
were
Titanic
enormous.
eyebrows.
But how are your dad's eyebrows? Are they quite big?
Not that big. He gets annoyed because they're getting bigger.
Okay, well, I was just thinking
Age, isn't
you're looking into the future, but you can keep them under control, folks.
I used to get bullied when I was a kid. I had terrible eczema, and thus I basically didn't have any eyebrows as a kid. Yeah, and then one day
Tom Baker doesn't have eyebrows.
they're drawn on.
Well, he does mention it from time to time. He said, like the fact that I don't have any eyebrows. And you go, ha ha ha. And then you look and think, no, you don't have any eyebrows, actually, Tom. I mean, has he got any there?
I mean, now I'm looking, yeah.
Wake up. It was the wake up. Oh, dear. Stuart Fell's going to get you, mate. Hey.
With the plastic gun.
What did I say?
Looks a bit like a cigar.
That's a Tomism as well. That wouldn't have been in the script. What did I say? He's going to kill everyone.
It's a very elaborate box for just a single switch. Dianane sounds more like some kind of sort of diarrhea pill, doesn't it?
Within 10 seconds, everyone in the city will have diarrhea.
Oh no. Oh, great. Right.
How did she get him in the front when she threw it in the back?
Television, my dear boy.
I love that they stopped the villain by shutting his hand in a cupboard. So, no, what we're going to do, we're going to defeat the villain. We shut his hand in a cupboard.
That'll do it. That'll do it. Here comes the little...
He's gone all capitalism mad. And they look getting a bit of green light on him, ready for the effect.
All the computer noises.
909. We're just watching it again.
Doesn't matter. It's because it's a very... He's really given it a good performance, isn't he? There we go.
It's the rule in television in those days. People react to special effects before they actually happen.
Look at that. There we go.
And Tom has the perfect thing to deal with it all. He's going to do it now. You know what it is, don't you?
Let's wait. The Peter Capaldi.
Yeah. Come on then. Come on. When is it going to... Put the plug in, he says. It's just a champagne cork. Which the Doctor happens to have in his pocket.
Yeah, from my wine drinking days.
Why doesn't Leela say, hey, you were laughing about the prospect of me dying earlier on?
You
was the laughy man there. And cut to him being thrown over the edge by Leela. Don't laugh at Leela, otherwise you fall to a death of 10,000 feet.
What on earth are they all going to do now? I mean, like, they've got to reorganise everything now.
I think they should just release the gas.
The diarrhea pills.
Come on, K9, you'll never get over that ridge.
That's what I was about to say. Good luck getting in here.
You'll have to leave me behind, Master.
Which Tom would relish the opportunity to do. Oh, look, he's magically
I'm
got... And
totally
he's magically shut the door as well.
Yeah.
With his arms.
300 million. Goodbye. When you say 300 million, Doctor, there's actually only 15.
How are they already playing chess? Have they got... normally when you get in, you
They
stop...
left it. They left the game.
Of course, time has passed.
But don't worry. Look. And the Doctor fakes it. It's interesting having I've been watching the Time Meddler recently, and that TARDIS control console is festooned with controls. Whereas this is rather
sparse, isn't it?
Sparse, isn't it?
Look at that.
It's interesting.
Look at the is it a reflection? Yes, never mind.
Look. So he can't play the game.
But the thing is, I was thinking though, is that you don't go in and immediately play a game of chess. You go in, you make a cup of tea, get yourself together.
That episode of Doctor Who ended with John Leeson going, why I oughta. That's what he should have said. He should have said, why I oughta.
Why I oughta, you kids.
So
there we go.
What percentage of that do you think actually had us commentating on, and what percentage had us just watching it?
So it's 50-50 split, but you know what? An enjoyable one.
Just reading out character names. Right, there you go. That was the Sunman.
There we go. We've
Part
completed
4.
another Doctor Who on our long
Yes,
list.
I think we're up to part 4 of Planet of the Daleks. It'll be part 4 next, won't it, if we did that next? But anyway, shall I put in a request for an appearance of...
For Jamie, yes.
Jamie Anderson. Let's see how quickly...
Still tickles me once when somebody sends an email in saying, your dad, Jeremy Anderson, and I always think of this alternative world. Jamie is the son of Jeremy Anderson, the famous vacuum cleaner inventor of the 1960s.
I've sent him an invitazione. So hello Jamie, thanks for making yourself available for just a brief appearance at the end of our podcast.
It's always a pleasure. How brief is it? Was that it? We done?
Yep.
Bye.
All right, see you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye.
Goodbye. What theme tune was that? Jamie, we've just been watching part 4 of The Sunmakers.
Which I don't even remember watching in full. Certainly not
What, part
recently.
4?
No, the whole serial, and part 4 obviously.
Wow.
Yeah, remind me about the Sunmakers to try and stimulate my brain.
Benji?
Doctor Who, all about tax collecting and money and debt and people in silly hats, all that sort of thing, really.
Yeah,
Ring any
it's
bells?
not,
No.
Outstanding supporting acting from the guy playing Gather Ahead, who speaks like this in Jupiter Player. He's very good. And,
It's a fun story.
It is.
It's,
And the collector who speaks like this, and he's an ultra-capitalist with little waxed eyebrows. Oh, Doctor, compound interest.
It's Doctor
that's
Evil, isn't it? Basically, yeah.
I suppose it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doctor Evil.
Yeah, see, I definitely have watched it, but just not for a very, very long time. But now I feel like I might do it again.
We spent a lot of episode 4 just watching it and not commentating because we were just sort of
Just getting into it.
Very interesting set design where they went for sort of very stylistic things. There's not a lot of detail. There's sort of big blocks and things. Lots of it looks very theatrical, but I quite liked it. A lot of people really take exception to that.
Oh. I mean, Benji, you don't look totally enthralled by the Sunmakers, or is that just my joining?
It's one of those ones like I would say. I suppose. I mean, it's certainly not one of my favourite stories, but it's a story that I hold no sentimental value for. So I don't love it in the same way that I would love other things. But it's a solid episode of Doctor Who. It's your standard Doctor Who, I would say. I
think it's a great script. I think it's a great idea and a great script.
And also great performances, I think, as well, throughout. There's loads of standout moments. It's good, it's one of those things. I enjoyed it. Very enjoyable.
Okay.
Would I, on my deathbed, request to watch it? Probably not. But
well, no, I wouldn't either. I
What
would
would you
request to watch
request?
Evil of the Daleks.
yeah, somehow making a deal with fate. Come on, Death, come on. If we're going to do this, at least give me that one.
What would you? Yeah, which Doctor Who story that's available would you demand to watch on your deathbed?
I don't know. What's the longest one? That's what I'm thinking. Get the most amount of things done in that time.
War Games?
Yeah, I'll watch the War Games. That'll do it. No,
Jamie?
Oh, I don't know. It's quite difficult, actually.
Sorry, and Benji, I jumped in on you. You've actually got a sensible one rather than the War Games, have you?
Yeah, I would probably go for... On my deathbed.
Depends what mood you're in, really.
What mood
Bit
are
somber, probably.
I'd probably go for the original Dalek story, actually. The Daleks, the Dead Planet, depending on what you want to call it.
the light.
Yeah,
Was it
there's
Stay in
something
the
very,
Light or something? Yeah.
something very meditative about that. I feel like I could reflect and enjoy at the same time, whilst enjoying the trees made from what looks like just bits of shredded, cut-up paper.
Yeah, I can't make up my mind. I might even go for something really ridiculous like Remembrance of the Daleks.
That'd be quite a fun one on your deathbed,
Yeah,
though.
that's what I was thinking.
God, I know, as a Doctor Who fan who would never speak to you again if you'd said that, but luckily you don't know him. he just actually said that the other day. So I'm just saying that, he was saying he will remain nameless, but he was saying that he's got quite definite political views. And he said, I don't mind if people disagree with me politically. He said, however, they disagree with me about Doctor Who, then that's it. I'm done. He said, so for example, if you told me that Remembrance of the Daleks is the greatest Doctor Who story ever, I'm done with you.
I didn't say it was the greatest story.
No, that's true. But I don't think he'd even want to watch it again. But it takes all sorts, doesn't it? And he will remain nameless. I think, I can't really decide, but I think anything with Harry Sullivan in.
Genesis of the Daleks would be a solid.
Yeah, Genesis will be.
Sontaran Experiment, Zygons. I mean, there's Robot.
I love a bit of Harry Sullivan. He's very good in the Ark in Space. I mean, Ark in Space I have an odd relationship with because I hated it when I first saw it, and now I love it. But it's it's weird. It's a beauty. It's a Robert Holmes script. He just knew how to write a corking adventure drama.
A good Dr. Quee, yeah. Well, that's a very morbid sort of way to go, but I would say at the same time, why not? Quite frankly, what would your deathbed Doctor Who's be? Everybody,
well, it's just a metaphor for which one you like, isn't it? Really?
Which one you like? Which one I think you want to watch if you were given the opportunity to only be able to watch one Doctor Who story and then never see any again.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Or which one would push you over the edge?
Underworld.
Underworld, yeah. I was going to say.
Unanimous. There we go.
Or Delta and the Bannermen.
Oh,
I like Delta and the Bannermen.
I can't stand it.
The music in it's so good, though. Oh, great.
Yeah, that didn't convince me, you making that noise.
I like Delta.
Oh, I've changed my mind.
But it's got Ray in it as a fun companion.
She's
that
nice.
Could have been. She's
nice
brilliant
actor
in it
as well.
She's
Sarah
brilliant.
Griffiths, isn't it?
Yeah, Sarah Griffiths. She's great in it. And
I think she thought she was going to be Doctor Who's companion as well.
Yeah, well, she would have been good, but then we wouldn't have got Ace. So, it swings and roundabouts, really, isn't it?
Indeed.
I mean, I don't know. I like that story. I don't think it's as bad as people let on.
It looks to me, it's like a light entertainment program decided to do their version of Doctor Who that week.
Isn't that the whole kind of point, though? It's sort of meant to be a little bit naff.
Well, then they succeeded brilliantly. And now on BBC One, Doctor Who goes a little bit naff. It's Delta and the Bannermen.
I hate all that stuff with the stupid baby. Obviously, what one would say is the whole plot of this story.
Indeed, yeah.
With the stupid baby growing up with all the stupid outfits every couple of scenes. But
that was the only bit I liked was the war on another planet bit. I thought that was done rather nicely.
It was brilliant. Yeah, really good.
It was originally called Flight of the Shimmeron, wasn't it? The episode.
Yeah, it was probably
Yeah, probably. This sort of
thing. No, it is.
I might have liked it more if it had been called that. It's interesting how, but now there's a point. Can you think of if something had a different title, it would have completely changed your opinion of it? What about if the two Doctors had been called the Androgam Inheritance?
You inherit an Androgam.
Wasn't that the original title?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
because Robert Holmes, funnily enough, wrote it.
I'd rather have two Doctors. As a kid, I loved a multiple Doctor story, so that was very exciting.
It seems to be a weird, unlike the two Doctors, there seems to be that, there's the two Doctors, the three Doctors only really featured two Doctors. So the two
Five Doctors only really featured for three and a half.
At least the two Doctors had two Doctors.
They delivered, yeah. We're doing the 6 Doctors, but we can't get 6 Doctor Who's, but I have got my GP, Dr. John Livingston here, who is going to fill in the part of Colin Baker.
Dr. Gillian McKeith.
Dr. Gillian McKeith comes and just faints.
She's not a real doctor, but...
Yeah, she was the Pooh Doctor, wasn't she?
She was the Pooh Doctor, as all Doctor Who fans called her, sadly. Yeah.
Did they?
No.
I mean, the trouble with the two Doctors, he says controversially, is that it was directed by Peter Moffat, who, there isn't a good Doctor Who story directed by Peter Moffat, is there really? How about that for controversy?
I like the location stuff, actually. I'd say that some of that's quite nice, especially all the sort of Spanish...
Well, it's a good location, isn't it?
That's why you like it. It feels like you're on holidays, isn't it?
They were. They had a lovely time, didn't they?
It's a real John Nathan Turner classic, isn't it? Yeah.
He's the chap who played the butterfly collecting.
Oscar, the butterfly collector.
Who is that?
Oh.
Who was that?
Let me have a look.
Some of the
Why?
IMDb that I don't know. Just he made a weird, not good impression on me as a kid. But I'm sure I
really?
saw him in something else at the time, sort of 90s sitcom-y.
Oh yeah, he was around a lot. I mean, he was a very accomplished actor. I don't know whether he's still with us.
Benji's
Yeah.
going to find out, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's crucial that he does.
James
Yes.
Saxon.
And is he still alive?
Good question.
Well, it was
No,
said
he
about
died
him.
in 2003.
Oh.
Well, sorry to see him go.
Yeah, that's awful. At the age of 49, really
What?
quite young as well. Yes,
2003, he was 49.
apparently that's what IMDb says.
Wow, he looked so old in the...
Yeah,
I thought he was about 49 in The Two Doctors.
So did I. Yeah, 1954 to 2003.
Good Lord.
That's
Very
sad,
sad.
isn't it? Actually, yeah, crikey.
Yeah. What other things was he in?
He was a Jonathan Creek.
Good, yes, well done.
Cleopatra TV miniseries.
Oh, yes.
Teabags, Christmas Ding Dong.
McCallum. Poldark.
McCallum?
Tales from the Crypt. Sharp's
Oh.
Enemy. Sharp's Honor.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Soldier.
He was very good at playing
Minder.
upper-class arses, wasn't he, basically?
Well, he
Yeah.
had that sort of wonderful way of doing the voice, didn't he? You know,
Yes,
it's
he
sort
never
of,
re-
yes, it's sort of, you know.
That's right. He never really played anyone endearing, I don't think.
He played Man in Distress in London's Burning. We had a regular role in Brushstrokes.
And he was in Roland Rat. I think that
Wow.
must be where I knew him from. He played
Well, you could
Darcy
friends with
DeFarcy.
Darcy DeFosse. I never watched Roman Rat. Yeah, Rat fans. I remember the very witty sketch in Spitting Image that they did about Roland Rat. They just started an episode of Spitting Image with a terrible a puppet that didn't even look like Roland Rat. It was just some ragged thing. Just went, yeah, rat fans. And then they just hit him over the head with a huge plank, and a voice just said, "Shut up, you annoying bastard." And that was the end of the sketch.
That's all you need. I'm serious.
Brief and to the point, I thought.
Nice. Poor Roland Rat. Roland Rat was a big Joey Anderson fan.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was just a puppet, though. Oh, I see why, yeah.
Well, rude. Because he's on Twitter, isn't he? Roland
Is he?
Rat. Actual Roland Rat.
Is it the same, the guy who did the voice?
Yeah.
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 Just sitting
Roland
there
Rat,
wishing
who
he
saved
could-
TVAM. Did you know that?
No.
It was TV. I don't think it was GMTV. I think it was TVAM.
It was TVAM back
Yeah,
then, yeah.
TVAM's ratings had gone completely down the pan. They were just losing, viewers hand over fist. And then they created this rubbish thing called Roland Rat, and all the kids loved it. That and Power Rangers, they put those on, and
Yeah.
suddenly I think they beat the BBC with their ratings because
Wow,
of
Roland
Roland
Rat and
Rat.
Power Rangers. What a combo.
That is
Yeah.
a combo. That is
Rubbish
the,
and rubbish.
Late
Saved
80s,
rubbish. Because TVAM was rubbish as well, wasn't it?
The funniest thing about Power Rangers, I grew up watching and loving Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I thought it was
Go
amazing.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, I thought it was incredible at the time. I thought, God, this is
Well, it's
really
terrible. It's
fantastic
awful.
telly. And then you watch it now, and it's utterly dreadful, isn't it? It
I've
just
had to
looks
watch
utterly
all of it.
It's ridiculous.
When
isn't
Ben
it?
was younger, he loved it. They made a new Power Rangers movie. We had to go to the cinema to watch it.
Oh,
Actually,
I remember
it was a
watching the
reinvention.
original Power Rangers movie back in the day. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it was
Was it-
awful.
Part of the reason it was so successful in the UK was because Keith Shackleton, who was Dad's merchandising man, who basically developed the TV21 and Century 21 merchandising empire, set up after he and Dad parted ways in the 80s and got all the European, I think, and possibly European and US licensing rights for Power Rangers.
Wow.
And made a small fortune in
What a
developing
smart man.
redeveloping it. Yeah, he was a very
Well,
smart
and it
man.
was-
Well, I had
was
loads
one
of
of-
the toys.
And it was one of those examples of a huge marketing spin-off success, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
did
everywhere as well. It was absolutely everywhere. Lunch boxes. Remember, I used to have the toy where you click the little button and the head flips, and you have the helmet, or then it flips and you have their face. Rather clever.
Nice.
I was, of course, far too old for that nonsense.
Yeah, but Good old days. But yeah, you watch it now and you think it's dreadful. It's just a bunch of people that do karate waltzing around in silly outfits and then getting struck usually by lightning, flickering around a bit on the floor before then finishing the episode with men dressed in massive robot outfits.
Yes, and those bits were all
cities.
shot in Japan, weren't they? And it's sort of a hybrid production of stuff that was shot in America and stuff that was shot in Japan, I think. Although I hope that someone will write into podcast@nicholasbriggs.com and correct me on that if I'm wrong.
I was going to say, this is the type of subject that definitely, what happens is, even if we didn't ask people to write in, we would mention it like completely randomly and then get 50 million emails from Power Ranger fans. That's how it usually goes, isn't it?
I'm guessing that the Power Ranger fans aren't a huge constituency, part of this constituency, I would say.
You never know. Have you seen, though, the unauthorised short Power Rangers reboot thing from a few years ago on YouTube?
No.
It's very dark, but it's quite good, and stars Russ Bain, who you probably don't remember, Nick, who you've worked with a couple of times with me, I think, on audio things. Really
the name
great,
rings a bell.
Great voice, Russ Scott, but he played one of the main characters in that.
Wow. Oh,
that's worth looking up, whether you like Power Rangers or not.
Send
me
a
link. He was a
link.
bodyguard as well.
Oh.
He is.
Well, on that bombshell, I think it's time. Thank you for that. I love the merchandising insight there, Jamie.
Pleasure. Happy to help.
Have you any ideas what we should do next week?
Well, I think the first episode of Power Rangers.
Oh, crikey.
That's never going to happen.
So glad of the
I refuse.
There.
I refuse.
What about something equally weird and depressing, like El Dorado?
El Dorado.
Is that available on YouTube or anything?
There must El Dorado episode 1. Yeah.
Come on. That'll be your biggest rating episode ever.
1992 El Dorado.
It will be the least popular episode, but we're going to do it, aren't we?
Well, definitely. It's the type of thing, though, it's the type of thing I'll end up getting really into. I could just see myself annoyingly getting really into El Dorado.
Well, I would like to gaze into my crystal ball and tell you, we'll just have an extract of next week's podcast of me reacting to El Dorado. Hold on, here. The image is coming clear now. It's coming. Here we go. Sorry, that was it. Yeah, that's my reaction.
Sounds pretty accurate to me.
Yeah, so good. Well, I don't know what the neighbours thought of that. Time to move close to the microphone. I'd just like to remind everyone to send in their emails to podcast@nicholasbriggs.com, and don't forget to answer the 7 questions that we set today, which is who do you prefer, the gatherer or the collector from the Sunmakers? Question 2, life on Mars or Ashes to Ashes? Question 3, talking pictures TV or network DVD? Question 4, The Thing, boiler suit or gunge? Question 5, Dalek invasion of Earth, post van or massive truck? Question 6, what is Catweasel's favourite food? Question 7, what colour is Benji's trilby? I'd like to say goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
And me too, thanks for having. Bye-bye.
Pressing stop now. Ka-chunk.